everyone and welcome back to Jikook Moments. Sometimes the most unforgettable moments don't happen under dazzling stage lights or during breathtaking performances. Instead, they unfold quietly, in the ordinary moments between destinations, away from microphones, choreography, and flashing cameras. It is often these unscripted interactions that capture the hearts of millions, reminding fans why the bond between BTS members continues to feel so genuine after all these years. Recently, a short clip circulating online quickly became one of the most talked about moments among ARMY. There were no dramatic speeches, no elaborate fan service, and no carefully planned interactions. Yet within just a few seconds, fans found themselves replaying the video over and over again, discovering new little details with each viewing. The scene itself was remarkably simple. As the members walked toward their vehicles after finishing their schedule, the atmosphere appeared calm and organized. Staff members were guiding everyone across the road while ensuring the members reached the correct vehicles safely. It was an ordinary ending to an extraordinarily busy day. But then came a tiny detail that instantly caught everyone's attention. Jungkook could be seen walking closely beside Jimin, his arm comfortably resting across Jimin's shoulders. The gesture looked natural, effortless, and completely unforced, almost as though it had happened without either of them thinking twice about it. There was no hesitation, no awkwardness, no performance, just two people moving together with the kind of familiarity that comes from years of sharing life side by side. At the same moment, one of the staff members extended a hand, pointing toward a vehicle parked across the street, apparently directing Jungkook where he should go. Even while receiving those directions, neither of them appeared rushed. Without stopping their steps, they continued walking together until Jungkook reached the indicated vehicle. Only after making sure he arrived at the correct destination did they naturally separate, each heading toward their own transportation. It lasted only a few seconds. Yet those few seconds spoke volumes to many fans. What made the clip so captivating wasn't the physical gesture alone. It was how completely effortless everything looked. Nothing appeared staged or exaggerated. There were no cameras demanding attention, no need to create memorable moments, and no audience standing directly in front of them expecting interaction. It simply felt like a glimpse into their everyday rhythm. Over the years, BTS has traveled together across countless countries, spent endless hours in airports, rehearsal rooms, backstage hallways, hotels, and tour buses. After sharing so many experiences, it's hardly surprising that many of their movements have become instinctive. Walking side by side, waiting for one another, matching each other's pace, making sure everyone reaches the right destination. These are the kinds of habits that naturally develop between people who have spent more than a decade growing together. Perhaps that's why this particular clip resonated so deeply. It wasn't because something extraordinary happened. It was because nothing extraordinary needed to happen. Sometimes the quietest moments reveal the strongest sense of trust. Fans quickly filled social media with heartfelt reactions. Many commented that the interaction felt incredibly comforting rather than dramatic. Others described the video as one of those rare moments that radiates warmth without anyone saying a single word. Some noticed how naturally Jungkook's arm rested on Jimin's shoulder, while others focused on how calmly they continued walking despite the surrounding activity. For many viewers, the clip represented the easy companionship that has long characterized BTS's relationships with one another. One fan wrote that it looked as though they had repeated this routine hundreds of times before. Another said the gesture reminded them that true closeness often appears in the smallest actions rather than the biggest displays. Many longtime ARMY also reflected on how these kinds of interactions have become familiar throughout BTS's journey. Whether backstage before concerts, during travel schedules, or behind-the-scenes documentaries, the members have often been seen quietly looking after one another. Sometimes it's helping adjust an outfit. Sometimes it's waiting so no one walks alone. Sometimes it's placing a reassuring hand on someone's shoulder. None of these actions require explanation. They simply happen. That quiet consistency is precisely what makes moments like this feel meaningful. For over 13 years, BTS has built something far beyond professional teamwork. They have celebrated incredible successes together, overcome exhausting schedules, faced global pressure, and experienced personal growth while standing beside one another. Relationships forged under those circumstances naturally become different from ordinary friendships. There is a level of understanding that often doesn't require words. A glance, a smile, a familiar step, or a gentle arm across a shoulder. These subtle gestures often communicate comfort more effectively than lengthy conversations ever could. What also stood out in the video was how relaxed both Jungkook and Jimin appeared. Neither seemed aware that such a brief interaction would later become a topic of discussion among millions of fans worldwide. And perhaps that's exactly what made it feel authentic. There was no attempt to create a memorable moment. No deliberate performance. Just a fleeting interaction that happened naturally during a busy schedule. In today's world, where almost every public appearance is carefully documented and endlessly analyzed, genuine unscripted moments often become especially precious. Fans treasure them because they offer tiny windows into the everyday dynamics shared by the members. Of course, viewers may interpret these interactions differently. A brief public moment cannot reveal the full nature of any relationship, and it is important not to draw conclusions beyond what can actually be observed. What everyone could clearly see, however, was a simple act of closeness and familiarity between two longtime bandmates who have spent much of their lives growing up together. Sometimes that's enough. No dramatic storyline is necessary. No assumptions need to be made. The beauty of the moment lies in its simplicity. As the video continues to circulate across social media, one thing remains certain. The smallest gestures often leave the biggest impressions. Long after the concerts end, after the lights fade and the crowds return home, fans continue to remember moments like these, not because they are spectacular but because they feel quietly human. And perhaps that's the lasting magic of BTS. Even during the busiest schedules, while crossing an ordinary street on the way to separate vehicles, they continue to remind people that kindness, familiarity, and looking out for one another can be expressed without a single word. Sometimes, one gentle arm around a friend's shoulder is all it takes to leave millions of hearts feeling just a little warmer.